Good evening, everyone. Rob Desai here with the tropical weather update for October 14th, 2018. And if we look at the tropical Atlantic today, you can see things have definitely quieted down from what they were several days ago. As the remnants of Michael are now long gone, the remnants of Nadine are still kicking but are not likely to redevelop, actually no chance of redevelopment whatsoever. And the remnants of Leslie are now also gone after impacting Portugal and Spain with some very heavy rain and strong winds. There's actually quite a bit of damage reported in that area, surprisingly. So that was a pretty bad storm actually for that area, but it is gone now. And if we take a look at the Atlantic for at this moment, there is not really that much to talk about. And a big reason for that, as you can see, is the wind shear that is plaguing much of the region. The wind shear has really increased here in the Atlantic Ocean, and that is typical actually when starting to into mid to late October. Things usually do start to quiet down, especially here in the open waters of the Atlantic, as we do have wind shear of 40 to even up to 50 knots in some areas. Also in the Eastern Caribbean, we have wind shear of 25 knots, which is going to inhibit most, if not all, tropical cyclone development in the area. And if we do take a look, though, we do have two areas of investigation or two disturbances. Well, there is one in the extreme southern Atlantic. However, there's a 0% chance that that's going to develop. So we don't have to worry about that really at all. There's another disturbance, however, with a 20% chance of development. But again, that's still a relatively low chance. Also in the eastern Pacific, we do have a new tropical depression, 22E. We do have another area that's 60% chance of development within the next 5 days. So the East Pacific continues to remain active. It has been a very active season there. If we take a look at Tropical Depression 22 now, you can see it's very close to the Mexican coastline. It is bringing some heavy rain showers to the Mexican coast and some relatively gusty winds. However, you can see, though, if you look at the 5-day cone, it is going to be slowly moving away from the Mexican coastline, and so it should not be an issue for that area. It will be moving very slowly, though. Right now it's only moving west-northwest at 7 miles an hour, and it'll be continuing to move slow, but it will start to pick up the pace a little bit in about 3 to 4 days, and it's forecast to become a hurricane in the East Pacific, but after that it's unclear as to whether it will be heading out to sea or it could be turning in and heading back towards the Mexican coast. So we'll have to wait and see what does happen with that. And now looking at the Atlantic for Invest 94L, which again has a 20% chance of development. You can see it's very, very disorganized right now. There's really nothing that indicates a strengthening system or a developing system for that matter, which is why, again, there's only 20% chance. And other reasons that it is forecast to head right into land soon. If we look at the track miles, there are only 3 miles on this storm right now. But you can see that all three of them have it impacting land, making landfall on the Honduras coast or the extreme northern Nicaragua coast within the next 24 hours. If it does take more of this further north line, like the light green model, light green track does show, then they might have a chance to develop, as it will be heading mostly north of land. If it is able to clear the land, then it could develop right before it does impact Belize. But any development will probably be not very strong. It will probably be just a minimal tropical storm at best. But regardless of development, it will bring some heavy rain and some pretty gusty winds to areas of Central America. Now, looking at where we are right now in the hurricane season, you can see that right now it's October 14th, and so we're right around this mini peak. This people usually call this the second peak of the season. Obviously, the main peak is around September 10th, and then it does start to decline pretty rapidly, but we do have this slight increase towards the middle of October. But I do think that we already did pass that point when we had Leslie, Michael, and Nadine at the same time, and now we're basically just going to be heading downhill and downhill. Maybe a slight chance for another storm or two sometime in the end of October to the beginning of November, but after that time it does definitely decline very quickly, and by the end of November, that's the end of the hurricane season officially. We can see storms in December, but it is very rare. And so I personally do think that we'll probably have maybe two more named storms max, but I don't think we're going to see any more than that at this point. And that's definitely great news, as we definitely don't need any more. This has already been quite an active season, especially in terms of the impacts to land, especially in the U.S. Of course, with Florence and Michael. So definitely, it would definitely be good if we don't have any more named storms after Nadine, which did dissipate yesterday. And if we do look at the European model the next few days, you can see the European model does not show any development whatsoever. It does have the disturbance in Central America, but again, it does have it going right into land, and so that will basically cut off any chance it has for development. And looking at the GFS model, the 18Z run. The GFS model shows a similar situation where it does have the low pressure, the disturbance, but again, it has it going right into land. And then after that, there's really nothing else going to be going on in the Atlantic over the next several days. No areas of low pressure. There's going to really be some high pressure throughout the North Atlantic. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any chance of development. And looking at the FV3 GFS as well, again, it has the low pressure, but has going right into Honduras and Nicaragua, and no chance of development in the Atlantic over the next 5 days. And that's definitely some great news, as again, we don't really need any more storms. We don't want any more storms either. And I definitely know that the Carolinas and the Florida Panhandle definitely don't want another storm, especially considering what they're going through right now, what they just went through with Hurricane Florence and, of course, Hurricane Michael just a few days ago. And now looking at what's going on in the actual U.S., the lower 48, it is staying relatively dry across the northeast and mid-Atlantic regions right now. We do have a few showers heading through Tennessee and heading into the Carolinas. Unfortunately, that is because that means that they're going to be getting some more rain, and the ground is already so saturated in these areas of the Carolinas as they had rains from Florence and from Michael, and so they're going to be getting more rain. There could be a chance for some more isolated flooding for that area. And moving west, we have some pretty heavy showers also moving through the Missouri region and in areas of Kansas. And then it does look dry, however, once you move past Colorado into the west coast, it looks very dry for that region. And now looking at the northeast region for the next few days, we do have another chance of rain coming up tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. It should stay rain for most areas, but there is a slight chance for some snow showers early Tuesday morning for areas of upstate New York and in northern Vermont. Could be seeing their first flakes of the season. And then as that does pull away, it stays dry for Tuesday. And then Wednesday evening, another chance for some rain and some light snow showers, but it shouldn't be much in terms of accumulation. And then that does start to dissipate as well for Thursday. And then Friday does look dry. Then we have another chance of some rain showers for Saturday morning, but it doesn't look like it'll be anything heavy for the Northeast, that is. But there's a chance for some heavier rain showers down south into Virginia and Tennessee and North Carolina region. And if we do look now at the total snowfall accumulations for the upstate New York and New England region, some areas could actually be seeing some areas in the mountains of New Hampshire, especially areas such as Mount Washington, the high elevations, could be seeing actually 2 to 3 inches of snow over the next few days. But most of the region will be seeing maybe just a light dusting coating, maybe 1 inch, maybe 2 inches in the higher elevations. But again, it won't be that much, as again, this is still only middle of October. We usually don't see any big snowstorms this time of the year. It's possible it has happened before, as for example in 2011, we did have the Snowtober event, which dumped quite a bit of snow in areas of New Jersey, actually in my town, and also areas of Pennsylvania and New York. But it doesn't look like we're going to be getting anything like that, at least in the next few days. Down the road, there are some signals that could show maybe a potential snowstorm in about 2 weeks' time, but that's still very far out, so we're unsure about that at the moment. Now looking at the temperature forecast, today was a beautiful fall day for much of the region. We had mid to upper 50s for much of the area, even some pockets of some cooler temperatures in the upper 40s for Pennsylvania. Tomorrow it does warm up a bit, especially for the mid-Atlantic region. Temperatures around 70, upper 60s, and some cooler temperatures though in New England with only in the 40s. And then Tuesday it cools back down with temperatures mostly in the mid 50s, even some pockets of lower 40s or even upper 30s. Then Wednesday it stays chilly, temperatures mostly in the 40s and low 50s. Then for Thursday it stays even cooler. It gets even cooler actually, with some highs possible, maybe only around the 30-degree mark for Maine. And then for much of Pennsylvania into Jersey, going to be upper 40s to around 50. So seasonably chilly for this time of the year. Not anything that unusual, but it is quite chilly compared to what we've been seeing over the past several weeks, of course. And then for Friday, it does warm up a little bit again, back to 50s, to around 60 for much of the region, but still staying fall-like. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.